light at the end of the tunnel a little bit. So don't get into the complacency mode, and the guys have responded very well.
How hard is that, by the way, in terms of 12 practices in, 80% of the way there? How, guys, bumps and bruises, or just the fatigue of the practice combined with studies and film and other stuff?
Yeah, it's human nature. It's kind of human nature to do it, but that's what we sit there and just keep telling them and challenging them to not get into that, fall into that human nature of just seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. A lot of times, again, the weather's getting a lot better, and although it's been kind of like this a little bit here, but the weather, the sun is shining, so, but you kind of see it a little bit, but, you see, so it's natural for them to do that, but I would sit there and say, like I said, it's been a great response by our guys not to sit there, and they've been practicing their butts off, so it's been well.
You've got 3 guys who have started games. I mean, Smith, Maitrey, and Hallman in those spots. I think after that, it looks like you got a bunch of young guys that you're trying to maybe get a handle on.
Yeah.
Do you know how quickly you can get that second tier of guys, those young guys, up to speed where you can really trust them in a game?
Yeah, it takes some time because, again, 2 of them have been here. 2 of them should still be walking the halls of high school.
Yeah.
So it's just every rep that they get, it's kind of like a battle scar a little bit. And it's like they're getting the calluses in their hands to sit there and put the work in. And they are getting better. But it's just, there's always something new that they got to work on. There's always something different that they have to work on. I'll always sit there for certain guys as freshmen, as you start looking at, we still got the summer to go, we still got fall camp to go, you still kind of got the beginning part of the season, and then you start getting into Big Ten play. So I always kind of put a little bit of marker maybe by Big Ten play. Those guys could, and again, it depends on how they're growing and stuff like that. But if they're trending like they're Big Ten players, usually kind of a telltale sign.
You mentioned battle scars, and cornerbacks always talk about the process of having to be able to have a short memory, which doesn't always come easily.
Yeah.
When guys maybe get beat in practice or have a rough day, what do you have to do to say, look, you're young, you got a long way to go, we're okay here?
Yeah, and it's even for the older guys some of the time, just because again, it's a pride thing, it's a competitive thing, also too. But that's what the great ones do. They go to the next play. So I always talk about the process. There's a process that happens every single play. There's a certain things, you gotta know where the ball placement is, you gotta know the down distance. So once you sit there and start going through that process, and that's a part of your process every single play, it's a lot easier to forget that, right, and just move on to the next play. But you still have to sit there and kind of keep addressing it because it's, again, to go back to the human nature part of it, of just to fall into that trap. But it's all about their response and how you respond.
I really liked about what Jason Maitrey can bring to the group. Obviously, holding down that number 1 slot position right now, but in terms of on and off the field, what do you like that so far?
Yeah, great leadership. He brings high energy. He is a high energy guy. He's a talker and high energy, which you love. But when you come in new, you're kind of feeling your way out a little bit. The easiest way to gain the guy's respect is to work hard, and that's what he did even in our mat drills and things like that. And then when he gets out on the field, he starts making plays. That's the other fastest way to sit there and gain the guy's respect. But he sprints everywhere. He's first one on, first one off. So that leadership part of how to work and how to do things, I think helped the whole group because it was all new for all of them, and he only knew what he knew. And that's to go hard. So I thought him with his experience of how to practice, how to be in the meetings, I think brought a lot to the table for us.
Ricardo has feel through the sprint and making plays. What's impressed you about what he's just been able to do consistently?
Yeah, I think again his game experience definitely helped. But I think he started 7 games or something, 7 or 8 games last year. But I just sat there and I just talked to him as we broke our meeting of just how intelligent, he is. He's starting to see things a lot better, and the better vision you have as a DB, the better, more plays that you can sit there and make. So I think his vision has gone off the roof, this spring. But there's a lot of things he's got to continue to get better at. Keep again, don't get complacent. Keep challenging yourself, finding a way to challenge yourself to get better at every single thing.
What do you think with Ricardo within what's now being asked of him? I mean, as a junior in high school, he had 8 interceptions.
Yeah.
But you saw 3 yesterday.
Yeah.
But what can this defense do to allow him to be more of a ball hawking type quarterback in the field?
I think that's the uniqueness of this defense is to allow different guys, not just him, but just different guys to play with a little bit of vision. But also we talk about challenging everything, So I think the style of play and the style of defense that we play will give multiple guys an opportunity to sit there and make plays on the ball.
In a group where you've got a lot of young guys, how valuable is it having the 2 sixth-year seniors in Alex and Jason, not only for leadership but also on the field to kind of show how it's done?
Yeah, I think, again, every rep a kid takes, every year of experience that they gain, I think it helps the younger guys see how to do things. That's the big thing. They know how to do things. Although we are new, playing the game is playing the game. It is playing the game. So those guys have gotten that part of it. But I think the uniqueness and the cool part of it, when you do get a new staff, is they have to challenge themselves also too, to how we want it, kind of done, and don't fall into that mode of this is how we always use it, or this is what we used to do. So they were kind of freshmen in a say also too, with just how we want things. And some of the times they would look at me sideways and cockeyed like, hey, we ain't do it that way. But it's just, again, just the process of learning. But when you can have guys with experience, game experience, practice experience, how to watch film experience, it just helps the younger guys so much more.
You mentioned Matry as a high energy guy. I know this was one play yesterday, and it wasn't live tackling, but would an example of that be him filling the hole and being able to go face mask to face mask with Braylon Allen and stuffing the run that way?
Yeah, that's definitely, again, when guys see that, because there ain't a lot of guys who would do that, young, old, whatever. So when you see a guy do that, especially again when they in the corner room or the smaller guys do it, it just gains a lot more respect for not only on the defensive side but also on the offensive side.
You mentioned Jason as a talker, and we talked to the receivers about that a little bit. Just that he likes to have fun that way. Like, do you have to talk to him about where the balance, where that line?
I gotta wind it back now. I gotta wind it back a little bit because, again, it just comes back to just team. And he understands it. He knows that right after this. He knows it kind of right. I got you. And you like the excitement. You just got to make sure that you channel it so you don't get 15-yard penalty. That you can't take a positive and turn it into a negative, right? But I love the energy. The energy is awesome.
So do you like it, or do you fear it when he's lined up against number 4 and they go head to head?
No, I definitely like it. Okay. I definitely like it. Because again, the one thing I would say about our receiving core and our group is it's making us better every single day. When you have a talented core wide receiver group, it only makes us better every day. And I love it because they have caught a bunch we have got some interceptions, but they have caught, some balls on us. And those are all learnable and teachable moments for us as we continue to grow.
The reason I ask is because 4 likes to chat too. Just a little bit.
It's a little friendly thing going on, but it's all right. That's a part of the game also too. You got to learn how to deal with that because there's certain receivers we're going to play against that's going to have the same deal, and it's all about your response. So you get caught up in that. It's a little bit different when you go to the locker room afterwards, and it's over after the locker room. But you learn how to channel all that stuff, and it's all, again, teachable moments.
With Ricardo, just how have you seen him attacking in terms of his mindset? Is it just, how is he kind of, it seems like he's taking a big leap. I know you weren't here last year, so you don't necessarily know, but just feels like he's playing a lot more consistent. Just how have you seen him attack in terms of mindset?
I just think, again, just, with our style of defense and the defense that we're sitting there and playing, then it allows him to do that, to have a little bit more flexibility to sit there and make plays on the ball. A lot of help underneath and things like that, which allows him to know where his help is. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's just the knowledge of the game for him. He knows where his help is. He knows he studied a little bit of the routes and stuff. Because I said, you can't wait until the fall to start studying a team. Right now, the team that you're playing is our offense, so start to study them. So I think he's starting to get a feel, again, for certain routes that are coming. So that's, again, just can't just sit there and just play. It's bigger than that. You got to sit there and have a knowledge, and I think his knowledge is knowledge of the game, knowledge of what the offense and how they're trying to attack you has climbed this spring.
I know we reference the younger guys in the group, particularly Jace and Jonas.
Yeah.
And a lot of the two reps late. And we've seen them have some good plays with us.
Right.
Growing pains. What do you like about their skill sets, and how have you seen them grow in these 12 practices so far?
First, just awesome kids. You know, I mean, just unbelievable. We were sitting there, of course, having a Jordan, LeBron argument, you know, back and forth, you know, last night, and it carried over to this morning also too, and everything. But you know, again, every rep is gaining experience for them. They have the skill set. When you talk about skill set, they have the skill sets. They both can run. They both have good feet. They're competitors. You know, they give energy and they give effort. So they have the skill set. So those are all the things that you just sit there, and it's a little bit more. Everybody kind of sees the final play, but it's all in them of just learning little things every single day. Let's get better at this. Let's get better at that. So I just sit there, and again, they get down, but you just pick them back up. Like, man, this is all learning experience that you're gonna sit there. You won't make this mistake again. You know, you won't make and that's kind of what I challenge. Don't make the same mistake. It's okay to make a mistake, but don't make the same one. And you can see them working on the little things, and that's the cool part about it. Like I said, great kids. It means a lot to them. I'd rather have that of them getting down because it means a lot to them because they don't want to let the other guys down, than the opposite. You know. Guys that just don't care. Oh, I'm better than that, and just saying it. They know that they have to get a lot better. You know, as far as just experience and technique and how we practice. I mean, it was funny listening to them two talking about winter conditioning last night. It was hilarious on how dead they were. I ain't never did nothing like that in my life. It was hilarious just listening to them talk about it, but it's all new. But like I said, they are very attentive. They take coaching well, and that's why I love them.
On the recruiting front, it seems like a good portion of your current room is under 6 feet.
Yeah.
Is that something you're looking to address on the recruiting front, or is size not really one of the main factors?
It is and it isn't. Yeah, I won't turn down a very good football player, you know, just because he might be a little bit shorter. Football players, a great football player is a great football player. Do you want the room to look different, you know, as far as tall, short, whatever, medium? Yes, you would like that. You know, but there isn't a certain size that I'm sitting there saying that I like this guy's at this height or whatever. I'm just looking at the skill set and football players. So yeah, do we want some guys with length? Yes, you do. You don't want all, you know, short guys. So you like a mixture of guys.
Seeing on the recruiting front, we've seen some offers go out to some transfer corners. Do you think you maybe need more help in your room on the outside or slot, or you kind of just want an extra body in there?
I don't think it's necessarily like help, but when you look at, again, our room, we got older guys and we got true young guys. There's none in the middle. Gotcha. So that's where you always kind of got to fill the gap of just guys, so you're not going from, you know, overly experienced to no experience. You got to have some in the middle. So that's kind of where that comes from.
And when we first talked to you, mentioned Alex Smith as someone who's kind of stood out as a leader to you. Yeah. Have you seen that carry over into the spring? Yeah,
no doubt. You know, Alex again has had a lot of battle scars and been through it. So his leadership, like if I need to get the guys together, and if I need to get something addressed, he's the guy that I call, you know, to get it done. And all the guys respect him in the room. You know, not just because of his play, or just who he is also too, and how he carries himself too.
You've worked with Luke before,
yeah.
But in the time in between, where have you seen him grow now that you're back together and working together?
Man, it's been awesome. You know, I think you know, his relationship, I think, to the players is unbelievable. How again, I've always known. I mean, he's just a blue collar, hardworking, just normal type of guy, and everything. And that's what I think. If people didn't know him and they came like around the office and they probably wouldn't know who's the head coach and who's the, you know what I'm saying, the assistant coaches, just because of how he just interacts with everyone. But just his leadership skills, you know, you know, to me, every great leader, they set what the standard is, and he is the standard. That's the thing about it is his work ethic, how he goes about things is the standard here, and that's what made him successful, you know, at the places that he's been. So, but it is cool to watch his relationship with the players, and how they respect him and how he shows respect to them also too, and that goes down the way that we treat him also too.
What are you most looking forward to tomorrow with the launch? Just like finally being here.
Man, I tell you what, I've been on the other end of a game-like experience here, and I know it's just a spring, you know, deal, but this is a place that I've always, to be honest with you, hated coming. You know, just because you knew of the atmosphere was going to be electric, the atmosphere was going to be excited, the people loved the Badgers. So you was not going to get home field advantage, you know, at like any means, and they were not going to sit there and let your little whatever 500 fans, you know, have a say so in the game. So the experience of it is as close to the game as possible. You know, I'm excited for our guys. A lot of families are coming in. It's a long time that they haven't seen them, so they'll be able to see them play also too, and just see our guys perform.